Welcome to Everything Sociology with Agbaka. My name is Udi Agbaka Godwin. I'm thrilled to have you all here on my channel where we explain and explore complex sociological theories and concepts into engaging, understandable content for everyone. So you're welcome. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe to this channel. So today I'm explaining a theory in sociology which is very important, and that is symbolic interactionism. It is a key theory in my field. And let's think of symbols as secret codes which have meanings that are actually attached to them. We see them, we use them in our everyday interaction or conversation. Interactionism is simply based on the thought of symbolic interaction theory. It is the interaction that takes place between people through symbols such as signs, gesture, shared rules, written and spoken language, and etc. So a symbol can be a sign, it can be a word, it can be a gesture, as I've explained earlier. So it is a shortcut to understanding the world around us, and it represents something. Symbolic interactionism is based on the pioneering work of George Herbert Mead, and it was improved upon or refined by his student Herbert Blumer, and we have others like John Dewey and Charles Hunting Cooley, and so much more. And in symbolic interactionism, the individual plays an active role in interpreting and interacting with the environment. That is, the social behavior is a product of social construction. Now, this social construction is derived subjectively or interpreted subjectively, and that is why some school of thought they view symbolic interactionism as social constructionist perspective or theory. So symbolic interactionism acknowledges the social condition as a causation of human behavior. That's one. Another thing is it views man as a creator and product of his immediate environment. Interactionist theory is a view of the society which focuses on interactions or actions between individuals, right? It emphasizes the importance of understanding the world based on the viewpoint of the individual. And another thing to note right here is it is based on everyday interaction, so it is small scale. It's on a small scale level as opposed to a large scale. An action is said to be social for the following reasons in symbolic interactionism: when the actor, one, shares certain expectation, when the situation involving the actors also incorporates others who must be taken into account, other actors who must be taken into account, and when the situation negates other actors to possess certain facility, object characteristics that influences the action in the communication process. A thumbs up, for instance, is not just a random hand gesture. It means good job. So it is a quick and easy way of showing approval or agreement in any particular situation. Symbols, as it is, helps us to navigate our social world. It is a building block in the interaction process. So it helps us to connect, it helps us to cooperate, it helps us to communicate, and it also helps us to even disagree without it resulting to a riotous or violent situation. Well, this is where it gets interesting. Symbols, as it is, they are not fixed, they are created. So it is constantly shaped or reshaped to fit a particular interaction process. Remember the thumbs up example we gave. In some cultures, it is considered rude to give a thumbs up. Also, through interaction or the interaction process, we learn the shared meanings of symbols, right? And we learn to adjust our behaviors accordingly. Symbols are all around us and they carry meanings sometimes we take for granted. The red octagon, for instance, it's a universal symbol or sign in which we are conversant with, or we should be conversant with, because the red in driving schools, in pedestrian crossing, and etc., the red means stop. But there are also other meanings that are actually attached to the red sign. Here is the mind-blowing part in everything. So because meaning are created during social interactions between individuals, so they vary in scope and in context. So what an individual may view as a particular thing may be different from what another individual may see or view as being that thing it is. A simple wave, for instance, may mean goodbye, it may mean hello, it may mean help me, depending on when and how it is used, the context it is used. And that is why we are emphasizing that symbolic interactionism aids the communication process, and communication itself is a two-way street. It allows individuals to understand and have a full grasp of the world around them. Now let's decode some everyday symbols. Let's see how symbolic interactionism is utilized in the world around us. For instance, the heart represents love, and it's one of those symbols or signs in which we encounter. And then even something as seemingly straightforward as the heart has different meanings that are actually attached to it too. In essence, the heart sign itself represents love, it represents friendship, it also represents life itself. So the symbol conveys thoughtfulness and affection. Even a little child drawing a heart shows there's a certain level of emotion and love inherent in that drawing. So we can jointly see that even the simplest of signs or symbols, they convey a universal meaning that can change or vary based on culture, based on context, and also based on perspective or even personal experiences. And that is why communication is a powerful tool in the interaction process. The question is, so why should we care about symbolic interactionism? It's a very thoughtful question. We should really care about symbolic interactionism because it helps us to make meaning of our reality, make meaning of our world, since we have a shared meaning, we have different perspective, and it also gives us a value of understanding diversity in different communication processes, different cultures, to be thoughtful and mindful, to be demurred in our expressions. In essence, what are we saying? Every sign, every symbol, every communication processes carries weight and significance because it is powerful. It is a tool itself. So understanding symbolic interactionism makes us better communicators. It also builds our emotional intelligence, also makes us empathetic in nature. Understanding symbolic interactionism helps us to understand the perspective of others, not always putting ourselves in the fore, but creating an equilibrium in the world in which we live in. Interactionists, they place emphasis on the idea of the self. That is, an individual develops a self-concept about himself, how he feels, how he thinks about himself. Remember the looking glass theory by Charles Hunton Cooley? That's a classic example of that. The way you view yourself is different from the way others or the society will view you at large. An individual, an actor, acts in relation to the self-concept, and the interactionist perspective is based on the definition of the situation itself. In summary, symbolic interactionism focuses on the process of social interactions in different contexts or a particular context, and then every action has a meaning attached to it that is given or uncovered or discovered by an actor that is involved in the interaction process itself. So I added this series of questions for us to have a better understanding of symbolic interactionism. We have 5 questions here. So question 1, who is considered one of the founding figures of symbolic interactionism? Option A, Emile Durkheim. B, Max Weber. C, George Herbert Mead. Or D, Karl Marx. So what's our answer? Easy peasy. If you actually followed our discussion, our episode lesson, you know the correct answer is George Herbert Mead, not Karl Marx. Karl Marx is conflict theory, not Max Weber or Emile Durkheim. Okie dokie, on to question 2. According to symbolic interactionism, society is primarily shaped by A, economic relationship, B, symbolic meanings derived from social interactions, C, government and laws, D, biological evolution. The correct answer is B, symbolic meanings derived from social interactions. Question 3. In symbolic interactionism, the concept of the self is understood as dash. A, an innate unchangeable personality trait. B, a product of biological determinism. C, developed and maintained through social interactions. Or D, the result of religious beliefs. The answer is C, developed and maintained through social interaction. On to question 4. Which of the following best describes the term definition of the situation in symbolic interactionism? A. The legal interpretation of a situation by authorities. B. A person's interpretation of the meaning and expectations in a given context. C. The economic impact of a particular social interactions. Or D. A mathematical model to explain human behavior. The correct answer is B. A person's interpretation of the meaning and expectation in a given context. So question 5 and our final question. Which of the following perspective most aligns with symbolic interactionism? A. Human behavior is heavily influenced by unconscious drives. B. Society is a stable system made up of interdependent parts. C. Human actions are influenced by the meanings objects and actions have for them. D. Social change is primarily driven by class conflict. The correct answer is C. Human actions are influenced by the meanings objects and actions have for them.